Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tibelo Chabana. I'm the Senior Executive of Public Affairs and Transformation at the Minerals Council. I will be your MC for today for this fantastic launch. And it really gives me great pleasure to welcome you, Bommele Bondate, Dames en Heren, van die Noordkaap af, to this Impact Catalyst Northern Cape launch. It really is a culmination of years of work by mining companies, stakeholders under the Northern Cape Mines Leadership Forum and the Northern Cape Shared Value Project for the Impact Catalyst. As you know, they've got a strong track record in Limpopo and also many other stakeholders. The focus is on regional collaborative development. Building resilient communities and resilient economies. And the theme for today's launch is a strategy to catalyze socio-economic prosperity together. Special welcome to our stakeholders in the Northern Cape. And unfortunately, the Honourable Premier, Dr. Saul, cannot join us. We're still hoping that we might be able to link in with the MEC that is standing in his stead, but we'll keep you advised on that. But yes, special welcome then to the MECs in the Northern Cape, other key senior stakeholders, some of the CEOs and senior leadership in entities in the Northern Cape. A special welcome to you. Before I hand over to Charles, Charles is the acting CEO of the Impact Catalyst. I just want to say, a few words. I want to make a quick health and safety share. As you know, in the mining industry, it is customary for us to do such before events and meetings. And in this regard, I'd really just like to reiterate what His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa said to us just on Sunday past. That due to the rapid increase of the COVID virus, we have to take extra precautions to protect ourselves and our loved ones. We've endured great hardships, many have, as a result of the virus over the past year and a half. And we were hoping that our lives could go back to normality. We were getting tired of wearing masks and the like. But unfortunately, the worst of the virus is just not over yet. So we still have to remain diligent in wearing our masks, adhering to safety and health protocols. And hence also the virtual launch today. And I really do want to add that myself and Charles here in studio, we've certainly tried to keep our distance, and the room is certainly well ventilated, hence us not wearing masks. So let me then hand over to Charles. As I said, he's the acting CEO of the Impact Catalyst. Charles?
Thank you, Tibelo, and welcome everybody to the launch today. Today is going to be very exciting, and we are very excited that you can join us today. Special welcome, firstly, to all our new partners that is joining from the Northern Cape Impact Catalyst, which is Anglo America, South 32, Ashmag and Kurumani. And then, of course, we have our new national partners, which is the Minerals Council and the IDC. But joining us today is also our partners that initiated the Impact Catalyst from the start. So we do have presence today from the CSIR, from Anglo America, from Exaro, World Vision, and from Zutari. So a special welcome to all of you, and to the audience. I see the numbers are climbing rapidly as we have started this live event today, and we're looking forward to a beautiful day with you today, with a lot of exciting news and a lot of exciting discussions. So welcome.
Thank you, Charles. So I'd like to also just continue with the welcomes, just to welcome some key role players. As I said, we're hoping to still try to get one of the MECs on the line, but if not, we will certainly move on with that program. We've got Themba Mkhwanazi. Themba is the CEO of Anglo American, Kumba Iron Ore, and then Andre Joubert, CEO of ARM Ferrous, Andrew Lane, He's a leader of energy, resource and industrials at Deloitte. We've got Joanne Bate. Joanne is the Chief Operating Officer at the Industrial Development Corporation. Thembalani Gancho, the CEO of Kudumani Manganese Resources. Roger Baxter, the Chief Executive Officer of the Minerals Council of South Africa. Lucas Msimang, VP Operations, Manganese South Africa from South 32. And I'd also like to welcome the Impact Catalyst stakeholders. We've got Dr. Tolani Dlamini, who is the CEO of the CSIR, Bruce Lizelle, CEO of World Vision, and also Teddy Daka, who is a co-CEO there at Zutari. And a special welcome to these other stakeholders that we have joined us. We really do hope that you enjoy this launch. I just want to discuss a few formalities before we proceed. So we will be taking some questions. What I do ask though is that because the chat facility is not being utilized, you must use the Q&A facility for questions. And so audience, please do raise those questions, ask those questions in that Q&A box, and we will certainly try to address these questions in between sessions. And then secondly, the camera and the mics will be disabled. That's really just to control the sound. And that at the end of this, we will be having a live Q&A session, but that will be open to the media only. So if I can just say, members of the media that have not registered, for instance, just in the Q&A box, please do just send us an email so that we can actually include you in that final Q&A session there. Okay, I would appreciate that. Okay, I've also been advised that we do have the MEC, so very well welcome to you, MEC Abraham Foslu. He is the MEC of Finance, Economic Development. MEC, thank you for joining us, and really yes, a very good welcome to you. Okay, just before we proceed, Charles, again back to you. Just in terms of the approach, this is a virtual launch, which is something certainly new to me. How are we approaching it?
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Debelo. So because of the current risk of COVID, the virtual launch was the best way of approaching this. We also could not put all the keynote speakers in one single room, which meant that we had to be very creative. So a lot of the keynote speakers that you will hear today has been pre-recorded, purely because it just eliminates all the connectivity problems that we might have during a session like this. It also, in terms of possibility of things like load shedding, that might happen, it just removed some of the risks. So today we do have everybody online, and everybody is here to answer questions, but some of the recordings has been pre-recorded to make sure that we have everybody present today.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that, Charles. So our first speaker, as I said, is MEC Abraham Foslu. But before I go there, Charlotte, just a quick question for you. I mean, how important was it to get the Office of the Premier involved, supporting this initiative?
No, it is very important. So the whole Impact Catalyst is built on a premise of collective impact, working together. And we cannot work together without having a proper alignment between the public sector and private sector. So working together as a collective to really make a difference in the Northern Cape is very important. And to achieve this, the Office of the Premier is key. To make sure that we can align our efforts and resources and energy towards a common goal, to make sure that we do the right thing, firstly, do the right impactful programs, and secondly, to make sure that we deliver. We are here to really make a difference, and to do that we need to deliver, and we need to take hands together to do that.
Thank you, Charles. Before I go over to the MEC, MEC, last week I was at the Northern Cape Mining Investment Lekgotla. And I think it was at that session that the Premier basically said to us that the Northern Cape province is the province that has the best sun, the best land, the best soil, the best ocean, and the best sky. And I think more importantly, the Premier reminded us that due to the mineral wealth of the province, we're going to have in excess of 100 years of mining in that province, which is critical. MEC, it's a pity that we could not join you in person in your lovely province. We really would have loved to do so. But here we are, the companies through the Impact Catalyst and other ventures. We are certainly committed to supporting and building the growth of the Northern Cape. So MEC, over to you.
Thank you so much, Program Director. Let me just connect here. Thank you so much, Program Director Chabana, and also the CEO. Indeed, I can confirm what the Premier said last week about the province, and that we are the province with the beautiful sun. We are the province with the square kilometer array. We have sand and sea in the Northern Cape province. Is the province of the future, with a wealth of a mineral endowment that is there for the entire world, as well as investors in South Africa, to come and have a look at. But let me also then take this opportunity to table once again an apology for the Premier being unable to be with us today, and unfortunately, due to other serious commitments that is actually cropped up. And I'm glad that I can actually be here on behalf of the provincial government with you at this platform. So it is with a deep sense of pride and optimism that I would like to appreciate this opportunity I've been given to welcome all to this virtual launch of the Impact Catalyst here in the Northern Cape province. The success of the National Development Plan 2030, regarded as one of the country's most strategic initiatives, ultimately depends on all the stakeholders involved and whether they are prepared to make compromises required to make it. The NDP cannot be achieved and delivered by government alone, but requires a joint collaborative approach by public, private, and non-governmental sector, together with citizen participation. While a lot of progress has been made in service delivery, there is still a massive backlog here in the province. Addressing these backlogs while maintaining fiscal prudence requires greater efficiency in the delivery of public services.
Just repeat it.
I was asked to switch on the video.
MEC, if I can just ask you to switch on your video.
Sorry, my video, let me just check. Is it on now?
MEC. Yep, I can see you now.
Can you still see me?
No, it went off again.
It's gone off again. MEC, you had it up?
I had it up.
It was.
Let me just try another gadget. Let me try another gadget and let me then put this one off. Is it on now?
Yep, I can see you now, MEC.
Okay.
Please continue.
Should I start all over again?
No, MEC, please just continue. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. The COVID-19 pandemic has deeply impacted on the lives of our people in the Northern Cape, and I'm sure in every part of other provinces, as well as the world. The national and provincial economic recovery plans aim to expedite the recovery of national and provincial economy, which has been detrimentally affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. The objectives of the plans include the following. Number one is to create jobs through infrastructure development and mass employment programs here in the province, in all districts. Reindustrialize the economy, focusing on small businesses and strengthening medium and large businesses. Accelerate economic reforms, investment and growth, fight crime and corruption, and improve the capability of the state. The private sector is allocated a definite role to play in the implementation of the National Development Plan. Without the private sector, the objectives of the NDP cannot be achieved. I think we are all in agreement on that. Accordingly, it is crucial for the government and the private sector to work together to drive competitiveness and promote long-term growth, as well as the creation of jobs. Undoubtedly, there is a shared agenda where private sector can share collaboration and joint responsibility with the government on issues such as developing a skilled workforce, protecting intellectual property, expanding on infrastructure, and dealing with the consequences of climate change, etc. However, collaboration needs persistent engagement, a long-term view, investment in relations, and in effective governance arrangements all need to be in place to achieve the desired outcomes. A Provincial Growth and Investment Council will be established to facilitate the social compacting between government, business, labor, and civil society to commit, prioritize, and implement the measures required to support the crucial structural socio-economic reforms. Now, in response to the developmental need to have a long-term plan in place with specific desired outcomes, the Northern Cape Province has developed and adopted the Northern Cape Provincial Growth and Development Plan, as well as the Provincial Spatial Development Framework that has crafted the way in achieving a modern, growing, and successful province by 2014, as outlined clearly by the Premier in the State of the Province addresses. Both these plans are firmly grounded within the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, the National Development Plan, as well as the Freedom Charter. The purpose of a PGDP is to provide a strategic framework for sectoral strategies and projects that will place the province and its people on a trajectory of growth and prosperity. To achieve this, the PGDP addresses issues of economic growth, social development, environmental protection, employment creation, poverty eradication, and good governance, concretely with implementable projects to advance the livability of all in the province. The PGDP offers strategic planning that will give precedence to the first structural deficiencies in the local socio-economic milieu. It intends to provide a strategic framework to guide sectoral strategies and programs aimed at a rapid improvement in the quality of life for the poorest people here in the province. The PGDP recognizes the fact that inherent spatial and historical disparities lead to the unequal distribution of wealth and social amenities, as well as environmental vulnerability. It therefore emphasizes the need to create economic opportunities for our marginalized communities throughout the entire province, the rural, the poor, the women, the youth, as well as people living with disabilities. It is only by implementing viable and long-term socio-economic solutions that the province can address unemployment, spatial injustice, the crisis of poverty and inequality, and ensure sustainable, equitable growth in conjunction with safeguarding its vulnerable biodiversity and environmental resources. The PGDP should therefore be viewed in concurrence with the PSDF, not only for socio-economic development, but also in terms of the spatial dimensions. Ensuring that spatial justice and development occurs within a strategic and coordinated framework. Therefore, the interventions and high impact projects espoused in the PGDP must be undertaken within the context of the provincial spatial development framework. The implementation of the PGDP must occur in conjunction with the spatial priorities set out in the PSDF to find feasible solutions to ensure increased spatial and subsequent economic equality. The PGDP aims to be an implementation arm guiding provincial resources, the allocation thereof, and providing a sound platform for driving integrated implementation. This document is a strategic management tool, not only for government, but especially for all our people in the Northern Cape. It is envisioned that the PGDP will lead to concerted effort in achieving Vision 2040. The implementation of the PGDP will be facilitated by the Provincial Growth and Development Council, led by the Premier of the province, and would further be assisted with the recently announced district development model by the President of the country. The district development model is aimed to have a significant impact in shaping the capacity needed to achieve municipal revenue growth, infrastructure planning, and preparation of projects, thereby providing the much anticipated opportunities for government, the private sector, and other key stakeholders to collaborate in this regard. The advent of the district development model presents an opportunity to work together to change the lives of our people for the better through quality service delivery. As we entered a new era in the political landscape, it is important that our people are actively involved in the formulation of their own vision on an alternative united society, that we join hands from our spectrum of our social metrics, namely the private sector, the civil society, the youth, academia, and every one of our citizens in the Northern Cape. The government, in partnership with the private sector, must identify areas to nurture and support, develop sensible instruments to support those areas, and implement them competently. The Northern Cape province is a unique part of the globe. This is primarily due to its rich endowment of natural, cultural, economic, and human resources. As a consequence, our province has become an international economic, scientific, and environmental focal area, presenting a unique mix of both opportunities and key challenges that requires a collective approach to realize the true potential of the province. As part of improving coordination and alignment, integrated development planning in the province is needed to transition towards a more inclusive, productive, and resilient economic future, with a key focus on the following key challenges restricting development in the province. Those are: the Northern Cape is a water-scarce province, which translates in many challenges to provide adequate water to our communities. The provision of crucial health and social services to isolated rural communities. The uncoordinated infrastructure development and the cost of extending infrastructure and services. Fourthly, due to limited capacity and less reliable infrastructure, economic growth and development is hindered. Limited growth and job creation result in increasing poverty, urbanization, and the expansion of informal settlements. The regional economic centers are struggling to provide adequate housing to the growing population. Pressure experienced by mining towns to develop and the impact thereof on smaller municipalities. And due to the dependence on the primary sector, economic diversification levels are low, which is required to stimulate further economic growth in secondary and regional centers. The limited distribution of economic activities resulting in limited financial viability in rural municipalities. And due to the vast, sparsely populated regions, provision and access to communication and technological services are limited in especially the rural areas and the rural regions in the province. The province is subjected to global environmental risk, i.e. climate change, depletion in material resources, anticipated changes to the global carbon regulatory environment, and food and water insecurity. Now, the Northern Cape government and the impact catalyst. The Northern Cape government, in partnership with the private sector, must identify areas to nurture and support and develop sensible instruments to respond to these challenges collectively and innovatively. Government and private sector collaboration are a growing trend internationally in an effort to use the strength of the private sector to revive or to build public services and infrastructure. Essentially, this collaboration are contracts on social compacts between the public and private sector that are geared towards the efficient, cost-effective delivery of public projects. Collaboration between public and private entities creates better and more effective public and private services and products. Collaboration enables the participants to exchange and share knowledge, experiences, the know-how and expertise, and help to bring a broader set of skills and talent and a more responsive work culture into public sector organizations, along with innovative thinking and creativity. It also helps the private companies to innovate more effectively and to achieve these concrete goals in a more efficient way. Now, as a province, various efforts are made to achieve this collaboration and finalize a social compact between government and the private sector. In January 2021, one of these agreements were finalized between the Northern Cape Provincial Government and the CSIR to support the Impact Catalyst. The Impact Catalyst is an initiative founded by Anglo America, the CSIR, Exaro, World Vision South Africa, and Zutari to create mechanisms that drive large-scale socio-economic development initiatives through public-private partnerships. The initiative is designed to leverage collaboration across all sectors and will be selected to impact beyond the scale of individual participants. Through the Impact Catalyst, joint programs are established between the public and private sector. Now, the relationship between the Northern Cape government, the mining sector, as well as the Impact Catalyst. Being a mineral-rich province, the Northern Cape province is home to various mining companies and houses for a long time. Over the years, the province has seen massive investment and support from the companies in an effort to assist us in achieving our developmental goals and objectives. Different long-term relationships between the mining sector and the government already exist. Considering the existing relationships, the variety of mining companies, the challenges experienced in the province, and the focus of the Impact Catalyst, a great opportunity exists to streamline this initiative to have a much larger developmental and long-term impact in the province. The future of corporate social investment rests with companies willing to collaborate with the government through the Provincial Growth and Investment Council to create and capitalize on the partnership between government, business, and society. We as a Northern Cape government are keen to exploit the considerable knowledge, expertise, networks, and the scale of the private sector in health, in education, livelihood enhancement, enterprise, and social development. The Impact Catalyst aim to drive a collective approach to value creation and social impact to create long-lasting, vibrant, diversified economies. The Impact Catalyst is designed to be the catalyst for change towards this new approach to socio-economic development. The collective impact model is used to drive long-term initiatives that enables a shared vision linked to programs, a common understanding of the challenges, co-investment of resources, as well as public, private, and social alignment. Through the launch of the Impact Catalyst in the Northern Cape, we are taking a massive leap to serve our communities collectively as envisioned by the NDP, the PGDP, the PSDF, and the DDM. Through this partnership founded in the Impact Catalyst, we can collectively align the targets and investments with the national, provincial, and local governments' plans to ensure we achieve the developmental objectives and address the challenges presented therewith. As a province in the Northern Cape, we are looking forward to future programs and collaboration that this partnership with the Impact Catalyst could result in. The implementation of the Provincial Growth and Development Plan, Vision 2040, a modern, growing, successful province, is in full swing with key projects lined up for implementation. As a sixth administration, we need to construct a new social compact as we jointly steer the Northern Cape onto the path of becoming a modern, growing, and successful northern province. Together, the vision of the modern, growing, and successful province will become a reality. We in the Northern Cape, on behalf of the Premier, want to take this opportunity to say thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, MEC, for that address. You know, while you were talking, MEC, I was reminded that the Northern Cape also has the best people. So yeah, it's a province with 80% of the world's known manganese deposits. It's got the best people, so the potential is there. MEC, thank you very much for that. I just want to re-emphasize some of the things that you've said there, and that is one, you know, ensuring the successful implementation of the NDP. MEC, this is definitely a priority of the Impact Catalyst and its initiatives. And as I said to you, it really is about building resilient communities, building resilient economies. We're talking about alternative economies in the Northern Cape. MEC, you also said that collaboration requires persistent consultation. You know, this cannot be overemphasized. It really requires persistent consultation. I certainly do know that mining companies or the stakeholders are often criticized for not engaging the stakeholders sufficiently relating to their projects. But in all fairness to them too, I mean, I really do think, you know, engagement at a local community level is really quite complex in a South African context. You know, local communities are not one homogeneous being. They have different leaders, some political, some business leaders, some, you know, elected leaders. You've got the different levels of government. You've got the challenges of inequality and poverty that are certainly quite rife in some of the outlying areas of our country. So consultation is not that easy, Premier. And I've been in those situations where one tries to ensure that it is effective. But the good thing, though, is that consultation is really one of the key cornerstones, essentially, of how the Impact Catalyst works. It is absolutely essential. And it has also been for the Northern Cape Shared Value initiative. So, yeah, I really just wanted to emphasize that. And yes, MEC, we do agree that, you know, high impact projects must be aligned and in conjunction with the PGDP. It's absolutely essential. And yes, integrated development planning is really at the core of the Impact Catalyst. So it's absolutely essential. And you know, MEC, if we can get this right through this particular initiative in the Northern Cape, and also through the you know, the SLPs that a lot of the mining companies have to implement, I mean, we will really be on our way to success. So again, thank you very much, MEC, for those words. Yeah, I'm going to move now to Charles Harding. As I've said, Charles, my co-panelist here, is also going to have some words. Charles, let me hand it over to you.
Thank you very much. Good morning and welcome to the Impact Catalyst Northern Cape launch. Today is an exciting launch and a new journey for the Impact Catalyst Northern Cape. But it's also important to understand that this is not the first step in the journey. The whole Impact Catalyst Northern Cape is a follow-up on the Shared Value Initiative that was originally started by Minerals Council, Ashmang South 32, Kudamani and Deloitte. And today we're launching the Impact Catalyst Northern Cape that will be then delivering shared value on behalf of these partners in the future in the Northern Cape. So where does the Impact Catalyst come from? So the Impact Catalyst was an initiative that was founded by Anglo America, Exaro, CSR, World Vision International to really drive socio-economic change at a regional scale. We realized that it becomes really difficult to try and make a change in a very small area around a specific entity. And we realized that we have to actually scale impact to get to much bigger things to really make a difference in a region, in a district or in a province. So the vision of the Impact Catalyst is to establish inclusive, collaborative, cross-sectorial platforms, initiatives and partnerships to really achieve socio-economic impact through public-private partnerships. And the bold words are very important. Firstly, everything we do in collaboration. You cannot make impact on your own. Secondly, everything we do is cross-sectorial. We try and do projects that's not just dependent on one sector, but cross-sectorial to create sustainability in the future. Then, of course, socio-economic impact through a systemic view, where we cannot just look at one single element in a community, but how do you uplift communities systemically? All communities needs healthcare, education, jobs. They need to feel safe. They need the right nutrition. And how do we uplift communities systemically and not just looking at one element in that specific community? And of course, lastly, we need to do this as a public-private partnership. We need to work together as the private sector and the public sector to really get to the impact that is envisioned. So the initiatives are designed to leverage collaboration for collective impact. They're all cross-sectorial and they're beyond the scale of individual participants. The projects that we launch is scaled to a size that not one company can do on its own. We try to do things that is really going to move the needle. And to do that, we actually need to pool resources and effort between the public and private sector to really get to the scale that we desire. So today is the launch of the Northern Cape with our new member, South 32, Ashmang, Anglo, Kudamani. And of course, in close collaboration with the agreement that we signed with the Office of the Premier. And of course, we have our new national partners, the IDC and Minerals Council, that is also joining through today's launch. And of course, there is going to be many more. So hopefully, we're going to have a new launch for a new province in the near future. We are busy with adding more partners to the family and to be able to scale more projects across all of these partners in the future. So what does the Impact Catalyst do? So the Impact Catalyst focus on a few areas. The first area is economic development. So really try to focus on opportunities that can create economic prosperity, jobs in the communities where we operate. And secondly is health promotion, to look at increasing the overall health of our communities and well-being. Thirdly is education. Of course, the youth of today is the future of tomorrow, and we have to look after our youth and make sure that the youth has got all the opportunities in education that we can provide them. Of course, education also includes adult education in reskilling or upskilling some of our community members to uptake new opportunities in the future and be relevant and ready for the fourth industrial revolution in terms of new skills that we can create. Then, of course, social empowerment. basically empowering our communities to be self-confident and be able to empower themselves. And then, of course, environmental sustainability, looking after our environment. And then lastly, supporting a capable state, supporting the national, provincial and municipal governments in terms of initiatives to really support them in service delivery. The next slide is a bit of a video that just explains how the impact catalysts work and how do we identify these opportunities that we are focusing on. Please have a look.
The impact catalyst is a driver of change and large-scale socio-economic development initiatives through collaboration between government, the private sector, and civil society. The initiatives of the impact catalyst will leverage collaboration and pursue opportunities across sectors to achieve impact beyond the scale of individual participants. A collective impact model is used to drive long-term initiatives. It enables a shared vision, a common understanding of the problem, and co-investment of resources from the public and private sectors on linked initiatives. The work seeks to support systemic socio-economic development planning and implementation. The first initiatives the Impact Catalyst is focusing on are on the areas of economic development in sectors such as the biodiversity economy, agriculture, agri-processing, supply development and renewable energy, as well as social development such as community-orientated primary healthcare, education and municipal capacity development. The Impact Catalyst involves establishing a collaborative regional development platform through which programs are implemented to achieve social and economic change for a specific province of South Africa. The Impact Catalyst, together with the provincial government, drives the strategy for the platform in the province. There are 4 interlinked processes which the Impact Catalyst uses to establish and collaborate on development initiatives in South Africa. The first process is spatial and value chain analysis. This is when data on the biophysical characteristics of a region, a specific province, district, municipality, or other area in South Africa is evaluated alongside an assessment of local, regional, and international demand for products to identify high-impact initiatives. This spatial planning process results in a geospatial socio-economic development strategy. The strategy is co-created between government, industry, and civil society to create a common development agenda. The second process is ideation. This is when the industry, government, funders, and the community come together and select high-impact activities identified in the geospatial strategy to focus on. The ideation process is a creative problem-solving process to co-create socio-economic initiatives using the expertise and experience of a range of stakeholders or partners. Once the ideation process is complete, the initiatives undergo a feasibility assessment and, if viable, are implemented. The Impact Catalyst identifies which initiatives are worthwhile investments for the community, government, and industry to focus on. The initiatives are co-funded and co-implemented, and a common monitoring and evaluation framework is used to indicate that the desired impact is being achieved. The Impact Catalyst coordinates, facilitates, implements, tracks, and manages the initiatives until it becomes self-sustainable. Visit www.impactcatalyst.co.za to find out how you can help catalyze socio-economic development movement in South Africa.
As you have seen from the video, the Impact Catalyst goes through a very scientific approach in terms of selecting opportunities that can really make an impact. As the Impact Catalyst, we don't want to just do projects that fail tomorrow. We want to go through a rigorous process to identify sustainable projects that can really move the needle in our communities. In doing that, we actually go through multiple data sets, as was explained, and go through a process of ideation and selecting projects between the public and private sector to kickstart projects that has got the best chance of succeeding, but also projects that's going to drive the most impact in our communities. So in terms of this process, we started a similar process in the Northern Cape, where we went through lots of data that has been created. For example, the Northern Cape Spatial Development Framework, the Northern Cape Shared Value work that Deloitte has done previously as the previous phase of where we are today. The different government initiatives like the Karoo Regional Spatial Development Framework that is currently in progress. And then of course some of the work that has been done by other organizations like McKinsey. And through that process we looked at how do we create an integrated geospatial development plan that integrates opportunities across the province where we can find investable opportunities for the future. So this is just an example of what we of the outcomes of that project. We identified very specific projects across the different districts or regions in the Northern Cape that we can launch as bankable feasibility studies. And each one of these projects then goes through a bankable phase to identify what is the real impact, what is the investment required, and is it feasible and sustainable to create these small businesses. So this is just a map. There's actually quite a number of other projects that is part of the process. So this is just a view of the different data sets that we go through. So as part of this process we have to go through numerous sets of data. So as example, the top left hand corner is just a map of the poverty currently in the province. Then we have the energy potential in terms of renewable energy and potential for the province. At the bottom we look at, for example, things like agriculture and where's the highest potential for agricultural projects that we can launch. Where's all the mining activities, and the last map just provides a view of tourism. For example, you can see there's basically 4 hotspots of tourism in the province, and how can we actually use the biodiversity and the vibrancy of our people in the province to create more tourism opportunities. So we go through numerous of these type of data sets. These are just examples to find opportunities to launch projects to either create economic prosperity, but also to launch projects in terms of where we can make a real difference to society in terms of health and education and other social projects. So in terms of the launch today, we have gone through a whole process of identifying different projects. In actual fact, as I explained, we went through the whole geospatial analysis process. We looked at the different projects that we can launch. We then went through multiple sets of workshops with the different partners, and we started with a set of about 115 projects that we took through different stages of prioritization to get to a list of projects that we are going to do this year as part of this launch. So as part of the Northern Cape programs, this is basically the outline of what we are going to do as part of the launch today, and projects that has already been initiated to some extent or are going to be initiated in the next few weeks as part of the Impact Catalyst Northern Cape. So the first program, so we've structured all the initiatives in 7 programs for the year. And basically looking at these 7 programs, there's multiple projects in each program. So the first one that we actually busy doing is Schools and Community ICT, where we look at providing communities and schools with high bandwidth networks and ICT services to provide educational services or provide services to communities. So in terms of this project, we have identified the first 26 schools that is being connected, and that construction of the networks will start within the next month. And we will start with the first 26 schools, scaling this to another few schools over the next few months. This, of course, is part of our bigger national program. We have got about 250 schools that we are connecting over the next 6 months. The second program of priority is health, to look at community healthcare. And in the community healthcare program, we currently are training healthcare workers to provide home-based healthcare with smart digital devices to do home-based healthcare in people's homes, which also support our COVID efforts. So as part of this, we're already starting with almost 100,000 community members that will be serviced through this community healthcare program. And of course, we are expanding that over the next year to include more communities in the Northern Cape. Economic development is always very important. So when we look at economic development, it is basically the process of creating economic prosperity or jobs in the Northern Cape. So in this program, we've got a big basket of things that we are going to do, already started in some cases. So as first portion of this program is to do supply and enterprise development integrated database that will support the identification of suppliers and enterprises across all the partners. And what we will do through this process is that we are already busy creating the infrastructure to start registering small little businesses around the different enterprises to identify which companies is currently in the Northern Cape and what is the products and services that they deliver. As part of this program, we also then identify where's the gaps in the supply chain and how can we localize some of these elements that is currently either imported, and how can we create import substitutions for those elements. As part of this program, we also have identified already a few programs that has been identified through shared value and through the prioritization process. We will start with very specific supply and enterprise development projects, projects like hygiene products and concrete products, and of course one of our very successful programs in 3D printing, additive manufacturing of mine components, or refurbishment of components that is currently being scrapped by the different mines. We're also going to look at the SME incubator and SME training, and this basically has two components. The one component is the incubator providing the business services, and the second is training for new 4IR skills. So we are looking at setting up a 4IR future learning factory, which is basically on-the-job training for 4IR technologies in mining, manufacturing and agriculture. And we are busy looking at how we establish a center like this in the Northern Cape to provide new opportunities and new skills to our communities and our SMEs. How do we upscale our SMEs in terms of 4IR skills and technologies to be more competitive in the future? And then of course we're also supporting the Katu Industrial Park. The next program is basically looking at agricultural sector development, and this is very important in many places, especially in the areas where the mines are very relevant. We do see that the economy is very structured around mine operations, and what we want to do is we want to diversify these economies to create resilience, create economies that's not just dependent on one sector like mining, but economies that is resilient, which can continue after, for example, a mine is closed. And agriculture, of course, is very important, and agriculture is one of the sectors that can create a real job multiplier in terms of programs and prosperity to this region. So we are going to go through quite a few agricultural projects to create new opportunities in agriculture in the Northern Cape. Next is tourism. As I showed you in the previous slides, tourism is actually something that is can actually be expanded significantly through the province. And we are going to see how do we create a new tourism sector, do a tourism sector intervention to create new opportunities for the province. We're also looking at municipality capacity building. So we have an existing municipality capacity building program that is supporting 2 of our municipalities. And we are going to scale that to see how we can provide more support in assisting municipalities to create the right capabilities and capacity for service delivery. And then lastly, our last program is early childhood development. Early childhood development is one of those topics that is, I think, close to all of our hearts. We need to provide early intervention into the lives of our young people to make sure that they are ready for the future. And early childhood development centres is just the intervention that is required, and there's a big need in the communities around us in the Northern Cape. And this is the last program that we are going to do. So watch this space. In the next few months, you're going to see lots of news and stories around these projects that we are launching. And we welcome you to be part of these programs and participate and see how we can take hands to make all of these programs a success. Thank you very much.
Well, Charles, thank you very much for that video. Ladies and gentlemen, our numbers are rising. I believe we are at about 186 online. As I said to you, please do send us your questions. We will certainly attempt to answer them. And that's what I'd like to do at this moment, just to go through a few of the questions and get Charles to answer some of them. The first question that I saw there, Charles, was the question is, why isn't the MQA part of this initiative? They're critical in developing skills for the mining sector and so forth. So the first question is, why aren't they part of the initiative? Over to you, Charles.
No, thank you very much. And I think that it's a very important question. I think from our perspective, the MQA will play a very significant role in some of the programs that we are launching. As I explained during the set of programs in terms of the 7 large-scale programs, the economic program, that is program number 3, does have a subset of training that the MQA will play a very important role of it. So that specific program is in an initiation phase, and of course the MQA will be part of that the process as we go forward and in defining the requirements of that training center that will be established.
Thank you, John. Another question from Neo Gaitsewe. I wonder if any relation to John Taolo Gaitsewe, the name of the municipality. Neo is saying, what about the disenfranchised small businesses, the SMMEs? How can they actually participate in something like this?
No, I think that's also a very important question. I think we all know that SMEs are the job creators in our economy. So we need to support them as far as possible. If you really want to move the needle on unemployment, those are the places to focus. So as I explained in terms of our programs, the first portion is to create a space where we can register some of these companies. Information is king. In many cases, when you start asking questions to say, well, what SMEs do you have and where are they? The information is never there. So first process that we are going to follow in terms of economic program is to register these SMEs, so that we at least have some sort of intelligence to say, well, who's out there, what products and services do they deliver, and how can we support them, and how can we get them into a supply chain if possible, or enterprise or supply development programs if they have potential. So from our perspective, that is our first point of departure for as part of a launch, is basically looking at who are there and so that we can support them better over the future.
Thanks, Charles. And just to really reiterate, I think the answer to the first question, the Impact Catalyst is not an exclusive club. I mean, it's a very inclusive collaboration initiative. So as you can see, new partners are coming on board, and I'm pretty sure it's going to grow with other partners coming on board from different sectors of the economy and so forth. It is very much very inclusive. Just another question there relating to some of your focus areas, or one, can additional projects be proposed? And then also two, there's mention certainly of something in Kutu. What about Kuruman and other areas? That's one question.
No, 100% agree. So in terms of, it is not a closed club. The whole premise of the Impact Catalyst is based on collaborative impact, working together. We also, maybe it's not mentioned, is that we have also different levels of partners. So we, for example, do have partners which is almost our main Impact Catalyst partners that is driving the strategy where we're going. but we also have a number of initiative partners. As example, we spoke about our schools and community ICT, where we have partners like Cisco and Ultron. We have, in terms of our community health program, we have partners like the universities, University of Pretoria and other healthcare partners. So we do have partners very specifically on some initiatives. We have partners that wants to focus on a very specific intervention or very specific project. We, of course, welcome more participation in those projects and even different programs. So the first set of the 7 programs that we are starting off, obviously there's lots of projects inside those programs, is the first set that we start off. But that's not to say that that is the end all, the be all. As we move through this journey and we collaborate, we need to define what is the best for the region. How do we work together? And maybe select different projects that will have a bigger impact that comes from somewhere else, something that we haven't thought about. And that's why it's so important to have the conversation and keep the discussion open through the collaboration.
Thank you, Charles. Charles, before I go back to, going back to the backbone partners, I want to just digress a bit, and I want to do a quick poll. I guess it's important, to get the audience a little bit more interactive and involved. So a very, very serious one, please. And I really do encourage you to participate. And the question is, hand on heart, what are you wearing right now? Are you wearing pajamas or not? It is still early in the morning. So please, A, no, you're not wearing pajamas. B, 100% yes. C, it's business on top. I'm wearing like me, a Zoom suit, business on top, pajamas underneath. Or I literally took off my PJs a minute ago. So please, I want to hear from you. And we're going to come back to the answers just now of that poll. Okay, so back to you, Charles. Please explain the role of the backbone partners.
Yeah, so the backbone partners is very important to us. Like anything, any living organization, the backbone forms almost the central nerve of everything we do. And the backbone partners has been very instrumental in actually setting up the Impact Catalyst. In actually driving something like the Impact Catalyst, which is very, very new, very innovative, almost thought-provoking. We needed people to take this and run with it and be the first adopters. And the first adopters are always the most important. And so a great thank you to all our partners that started the Impact Catalyst. And without them, we wouldn't have been here where we are today, expanding our impact that we actually deliver across the country. Organizations like Anglo, the CSR, Exaro, World Vision, and Zutari has played a significant role in getting the flywheel going. Because like any big program, you need to get the flywheel spinning. And as soon as the flywheel is spinning, you can achieve a lot more. And that was the purpose and the drive, I think, and the passion behind our partners. And not just the passion behind our backbone partners, but also the new partners that is joining today. There's this burning passion to really make a difference. And that burning passion actually starts spinning that flywheel. And the more we spin this flywheel, the more impact we achieve. Obviously, also from our backbone partners, to get the whole Impact Catalyst and the movement going, a significant amount of resources was required. All the partners put up their hands and say, well, we will provide resources to make this happen. Yet again, the only way to really achieve what we want to achieve is by aligning resources. I think it was a very brave step from these partners to put up their hands to say, well, we will contribute towards this idea, and we will take it from idea to actually establish the Impact Catalyst and drive it. So thank you very much to all our partners. We really appreciate the push.
Yeah. I also want to reiterate that. Very big thank you to the new partners joining the Impact Catalyst. I think it's going to be a very long, fruitful relationship. I believe we've got a short video that focuses, on the backbone partners, and then I think straight after that I will come back to the poll.
This vision sees mining as a long-term investment that can create thriving, self-sufficient communities.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Thulani Dlamini. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the CSIR. On behalf of the CSIR, I would like to congratulate our new partners for coming on board the Impact Catalyst initiative. It is only by working in partnership with the public and the private sectors that we can make a significant and long-lasting impact in our country's socio-economic development. Since joining the initiative in 2019, together with our partners, we have launched a number of high-impact projects, which include Schools ICT project, which will provide broadband connectivity to over 250 rural schools, supporting the development of the Waterberg District Development Plan in support of the President's District Development Model, development of community-oriented primary care services for fence-line communities near mining operations, introducing the CSR-developed AmbiFlow device to support community-oriented healthcare programs for the reduction of neonatal deaths, and also introducing economic development projects such as the laser-based refurbishment of mine equipment, which has the potential to create a number of small and medium enterprises, to name but a few. All of this was made possible through collaboration, building on complementary capabilities of each partner to make this initiative a success. As you launch this initiative in the Northern Cape, you can be assured of the support of the CSIR. I would therefore like to congratulate all our new members and welcome them to the Impact Catalyst family.
Hi, this is Mxolisi Mgojo, CEO of Exxaro Resources. Welcome, and just want to share with you why we as Exxaro are excited about being part of the Impact Catalyst in the Northern Cape. We have been on this journey with the Impact Catalyst in the Lapalale area. And because of what we believe in collectively, that ours is to ensure that we live our communities in a much more sustainable way going into the future. We see this as our responsibility to co-create this future that we want to create, not only for the benefit of our individual organizations, but for the benefit of broader society. And we are proud that we can join others, other abled and capable and very devoted South Africans who see part of their purpose is empowering a better world for the future. And therefore, we are very proud that we can also play a small, meaningful role in part of this big journey, collective journey, that we want to ensure that what we are doing today is laying the foundations, is laying the soil to enable the future generations to reap that which we may not be there to reap, but they will bear the fruits and reap the fruits for the next generations to come, for the future of our children and our grandchildren. So this is something that is worthy, and we are proud that we can all play this role together. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bruce Lazell. I'm the CEO of World Vision, and it's been an absolute delight for the last couple of years to work alongside my compatriots at the Impact Catalyst, to work with such a dynamic team who gets stuff done, but the stuff that's done makes a difference to the lives of so many in South Africa. It's a privilege to be part of them and to contribute to both the Impact Catalyst, but also to the future of our wonderful country. I'm so excited to welcome in the new members who are going to be part of this amazing organization and are going to be a part of the impact that we're going to have for many, many years to come on the communities around mines and the many other communities that deserve a better life. Welcome.
To my fellow partners, attendees, and colleagues, good morning to you. Today is a special day as I get to say good morning to our new onboarding partners. I'm Teddy Darker, I'm the co-CEO of Zutari and the Impact Catalyst representative from our side. I'd like to commend the new onboarding partners for joining Impact Catalyst and taking a collaborative approach towards socio-economic development. For Zutari, our journey with Impact Catalyst has been very rewarding and aligned with our commitment to co-create an engineered impact for our communities. Together we can grow South Africa. Welcome to Impact Catalyst journey. It's a good journey and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it.
Thank you. Thank you to the backbone partners of the Impact Catalyst. But before I go to introducing the new partners, I just want to go back to our poll. And Paul, if we can just put the poll on the screen so that the audience can also see it. So the question was, hand on heart, are you wearing pajamas right now? Well, 76% of you said no. I must admit though, I'm a bit disappointed though that only 10% were honest enough to say yes, and I'm bitterly disappointed that the idea of a Zoom suit has not caught on. I think these Zoom suits like the one I'm wearing now are very effective. I really do think maybe there's a business opportunity there. But anyway, some of you said, yeah, you literally took it off. Look, the reason why we did that quick poll was that we're going to have a more serious poll later on. So that was really just a dry run. So thank you very much. And as I said, we will continue asking and answering questions during the day, sometimes in between some of the speakers. But let's move on to that. Let's get to the new partners, and the first one up is Themba Mkhwanazi from Anglo-American Kumba Iron Ore. So just want to take you through a quick bio of Themba Mkhwanazi. As I said, he is the CEO of Kumba Iron Ore. He's a member of the Group Management Committee, GMC, of Anglo-American. Prior to joining Kumba, he held position as CEO of Anglo-American Coal in South Africa from about May 2014 to September 2016. He previously held positions in Rio Tinto as a regional general manager for America, responsible for delivering technical and operational improvements across Rio Tinto's businesses in the region. Themba holds a Bachelor of Engineering degree honors of chemical engineering. He has had a number of senior roles in the industry, including Chief Operations Officer of Richards Bay Minerals, during which he was responsible for mining, smelting, processing operations. And before that, he was a Managing Director at the Huntsman Corporation of South Africa. So please then, without further ado, if we can go to the message from Themba Mkhwanazi.
Good morning to the Premier of the Northern Cape, Dr. Zamani Soul, to representatives of national, provincial and local government present here, our Northern Cape partner representatives, our community stakeholders, media, and everyone taking part in this event. It gives me great pleasure to address you today at the launch of the Impact Catalyst in the Northern Cape, in my capacity as the CEO of Kumba Iron Ore. At Anglo American, Collaborative Regional Development, CRD, has been an important priority area for our business and our sustainable mining plan. This is because we recognize the need to drive collective impact through formalized public and private partnerships, allowing us to tap into the collective knowledge, expertise, and networks of partners. This is why the launch of the Impact Catalyst is precisely significant for the Northern Cape. To achieve the scale, speed, and impact necessary, we need an integrated approach that leverages key role players and drives meaningful change and measurable socio-economic development. This is a province with economic potential, but like many other regions in our country, we have our challenges in the Northern Cape. The provincial unemployment rate stood at 28.7% at the end of the fourth quarter of 2022. The provincial unemployment rate stood at 28.7% at the end of the fourth quarter of 2020. Of particular concern for all of us is the high unemployment rate amongst young people in the province, which now stands just over 44%. It is clear that these socio-economic challenges are a clarion call for all of us who are deeply invested in the Northern Cape to roll our sleeves and get to work, irrespective of whether we are business, civil society, or government. As Kumba Iron Ore, we are honored and privileged to be part of this movement of making a collective impact in the Northern Cape. We have been mining in South Africa for over 100 years as the Anglo American Group, and in that time we have had a front row seat to the changing nature of the challenges and the opportunities of the industry. We have seen the nature and image of the industry change in line with the demands and expectations of our many stakeholders, as well as our own need to introspect and do better. We have seen how the role of business has and continues to change. We would not be able to launch the Impact Catalyst today if we were all working in our silos with different agendas. The onslaught of the COVID-19 pandemic exposed us all to our shared vulnerabilities as people and taught us hard lessons about the importance of ensuring that our organizations are resilient and future-proof. This is why the transformative potential of the Impact Catalyst makes so much sense to us. The Impact Catalyst is rooted in our belief that we can make a significant inroads to the social, environmental, and economic development challenges in South Africa. And most importantly, it gives us a chance to be directly involved in drawing up a new reality for what the future of mining can look like. At Anglo American, our sustainable mine plan sets our long-term plan for where we mine and integrates our ambition with the social development of the country. It is integrated into our corporate strategy. This plan demands that our industry addresses the critical challenges of safety, health, environment, productivity, and the way we use land, energy, and water. As such, our long-term planning does not only exist in terms of technical and operational planning, it also includes the socio-economic aspects, where the central focus is our communities through a community development strategy that is thoughtful, all-encompassing, and inclusive. We have set ourselves the great task of creating 5 jobs off-site for every 1 job we create at our operations by 2030. We are committed to live in a world where our mines integrate economic sustainability and contribute positively to host communities and society. Our long-term stability is linked to society's growth and prosperity, especially in the context of rising unemployment and inequality levels in South Africa. A holistic approach to sustainable mining requires us to create a lasting impact for our communities. It aligns with Anglo-Americans' commitment to creating better livelihoods and alternative economies beyond mining using the available resources at our disposal. The time to act is now, because these resources will not be with us forever. One of our specific focus with the Impact Catalyst is on empowering the youth, particularly those whose development is restricted by the systemic factors beyond their control. As we close Youth Month, our message to young people is that we understand their plight, which has now been exacerbated by the pandemic, and we are clear that we have a role to play in working with the youth to finding lasting solutions to improve livelihoods. We do not have all the solutions, but we are ready to co-create the solutions together. I thank you.
Thank you, Themba. Thanks for that message. And Themba is actually still live with us and will be participating in the Q&A. Themba, thank you very much for that. Tapping into collective power to make a collective impact. That was powerful. And yes, you know, we welcome the transformative power of the Impact Catalyst. Well done to yourselves and the backbone partners for establishing this initiative. It really does show that certainly mining companies are up there leading social development. Themba, 5 jobs to be created off-site for every 1 job on-site by 2030. We will be watching that. Thank you very much for that. Let's move on then to our second new partner, Asmang. And we've got Andre Joubert. You know, he's a seasoned mining engineer. He's the chief executive of the first division of African Rainbow Mineral. The division is responsible for the operational activities of Asmang, which is a 50-50 joint venture between ARM and ASOR, and both these entities are listed on the JSE. Andre is also the chairman of the Asmang Executive Committee and serves as the director of Asmang and chairs Sakura Ferroalloys in Malaysia. And he's also the lead on the Northern Cape Mines Leadership Forum when it comes to social development, has been very instrumental in driving the shared value project. So with that, let's go to Andre's message. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and it's a real privilege to be here with you today on this momentous occasion to celebrate the opening of this Impact Catalyst project that we're going to launch in the Northern Cape. My name is Andre Joubert. I'm the Chief Executive of African Rainbow Minerals Ferrous Division, and also the Managing Partner in terms of our work that we're doing in Asmang in the Northern Cape. Mining companies, we are the core of the economy of the country, I believe, and we have to and must make an impact in the communities where we work. We are a non-renewable industry, so at some stage in our lives, different mines will come to an end. To that effect, we also realized that even during our operating time, that we've also got to share the wealth that we're creating in the mining industry in the communities that we are working with. So government launched a very good program, it's now more than 20 years ago, through the social and labour plan and the mining rights, where we were literally forced to engage with the communities through our social labour plan. About 3 years ago, we did some backtracking and review of how did we perform and what did we actually achieve. The conclusion that we made was that as individual mining companies, we spend a lot of money in the Northern Cape, but if you look around us, you can't really see the impact that we've made. There's a soccer field here, a toilet for a school there, a computer classroom there, but there was no real lasting benefit. And we also did not collaborate between the mines. The mines and the municipality, the collaboration there was not at the level that it should have been. So we realized that we're spending a lot of money and there's a lot of goodwill, but the actual results that we deliver is not to the standard, and it actually did not really deliver tangible results for the communities in which we operate. And to that effect, we started the process. Initially, we called it the Shared Value Project. And I'm very proud to say that ASMANG, Anglo American, South 32 and Kudumani decided to join forces and lead the process. We partnered at that point with Deloitte, and they assisted us in a process that we call the Shared Value Project. And if we did not achieve anything out of that project, and tangible, but one thing we did achieve is that we realized that we have to work together as the mines to make a sustainable impact in the communities in which we operate. And then we looked around, and through Anglo American, then we got into contact with Impact Catalyst. And the beauty about Impact Catalyst is that the collaboration that they're going to assist us with is not only between the mines, but it is between the mines, the communities in which we work, the traditional leaders, the municipalities, the provincial government, and even national government, and that we all work together to one plan and one objective, and that is to uplift the economic viability of the communities in which we work, and also to bring more industry and more activities into the Northern Cape so that the people living in the Northern Cape can also benefit from this collaborative effort that we're doing, and that we can create through this, that we can start from early childhood development right through to schooling, right through to eventual employment of our people, and creating businesses that is sustainable and that can last through economic up and downturns, and also add real lasting value to the communities in which we work. So that's a rough overview of where we are and where we've been. So we are now at the cusp of launching this new project, the Impact Catalyst project, and I'm looking very much forward to this opportunity and this real humane and collaborative project. I think we can show our strength in unity, and through that process, and I really urge everybody participating in today's session and for the future that we really break down those company barriers, we break down the political barriers, we break down the regional barriers, and that we work together for the benefit of the people living in our communities. And if we do this, we will create businesses, we will create education, we will create lasting legacies from our mines, and we will create an economic hub in the Northern Cape that will play a significant role in the future economic development and success of South Africa. So I wish you all the best. I really urge you for your participation. I urge you to use your brains, use your skills, use your imagination, use your free thinking, but work together. And it's not about me, it's not about ASMANG, it's not about the mines, it's about the country, it's about the people in the country, and how best we can work together to make this a really, really successful project. I think the people on the project, the leaders of this process through Impact Catalyst, through Zutari, through the different mines that is participating in this, the provincial leadership, the legislators, if we all work together, I'm pretty sure we can set a benchmark and we can become a shining star for everybody in South Africa by showing what we can do if we work together. Thank you.
Working for the people of the country. Thank you very much, Andre. And yes, Andre, I do share your frustration, when it comes to not having impactful projects. Just put a bit of context, those that don't know. I mean, the projects here that are going to be implemented through the Impact Catalyst, I mean, these are over and above what mining companies are doing in terms of their social and labor plans, their SLPs. That's really where the bulk of the spending takes place. But it is really a challenge, I think, primarily due to some of the regulatory things with SLPs and how they are finalized. They are in different sync, in different periods, different mines. So there are hundreds of SLPs that just don't talk to each other in particular regions. So those challenges are very real. And I think, the Impact Catalyst, showing what collaboration can do will help maybe, get the regulator to loosen up and allow mining companies to be collaborating for these on these bigger impactful projects. So really we hope that that is one of the developments that we see from these types of collaborations. Okay, let's move on then. We're going to move on to Deloitte and Andrew Lane. You know, Andrew's a senior partner at Deloitte, heading up that energy resources practice and industries in Africa. And he has over 30 years of experience in this industry. I'm going to be cutting short the bios a bit, Andrew, if you don't mind. But Andrew is really going to talk to us also a little bit about the shared value project. Let's go then to Andrew's message.
So good morning, everybody. Welcome to this launch of the Impact Catalyst. I hope you all have a great time. I'm sorry I couldn't be there with you, but happy to share these few comments by video. My name is Andrew Lane. I'm a partner at Deloitte. I lead the energy resources and industrials practice at Deloitte. I'm also a strategy partner, and I've spent most of my time practicing strategy in mining companies. I was privileged to be part of the Northern Cape Shared Value Project, which was the beginnings of this collaboration in the Northern Cape. That project goes back a number of years to conversations that I had with some of the CEOs of the mining companies operating in the Northern Cape. And basically what the question is we spend a lot of money, or the mining industry spends a lot of money in these mining regions, of which the Northern Cape is an example. A tremendous amount of money on social projects, social investments, corporate and social investment, enterprise development, and things like that. Yet we seem to be missing the mark. Yet the intended beneficiaries are still unhappy and still feel that mining companies could do more. And the question was, well, is there a way we could do this better? Is there a way we could be more thoughtful and more insightful about how we deploy our time and effort and our capital in these communities? And wouldn't it work better if we work together as a group of mining companies? And we then were able to pull a number of mining companies together, most of whom are represented here today, together with the Minerals Council. And we got a collaborative effort going to start working together to try and create more impact and better outcomes for the people of the Northern Cape with the money that we spend and the efforts that we put in. We had a look at the time at all of the projects that the various mining companies were doing, and what we found was it was all over the place. Everybody was doing different things. We weren't talking to each other. There was no collaboration or reinforcement between projects. And we found a portfolio of projects. There were some projects that were well executed and got great results. Those were mostly in the water and sanitation infrastructure type area, because those are the things that mines do well. We found some projects where there wasn't as much impact, where they were successfully delivered, but the impact wasn't as great as what we'd hoped. And we found a number of opportunities where we really felt we could do a lot better. And most of those were in the realm of enterprise development and supplier development. And if you think about the amount of money that mining companies spend on procurement, it became apparent that there was an opportunity to actually use our enterprise development and supplier development efforts to create more impact and to generate more jobs actually in the local communities. So based on that, we then set about trying to help these companies to collaborate with each other. It's a lot harder than you think, but I think that looking back on it, it's been a tremendous success. We looked at a variety of places where mining companies could collaborate together and do things better. We came up with a basket of opportunities under what we call sustainable industrialization, which was really the things that mines buy and how can that money be spent in a way which creates more jobs in the local community. We looked at their procurement spend, we looked at their SLP commitments, and we came up with a list of projects that where we felt there could be significantly more impact made through the companies collaborating with each other. We also looked at the entire question of skills development. It was one of the biggest issues that came out when we spoke to people in the Northern Cape. That skills development, firstly for job opportunities on the mines and in the mining value chains, but also skills for the future. You know, as mines modernize and as we bring more digital technology into these communities, what are the skills that young people will need in the future that that will enable them to earn incomes beyond just being dependent on mining. We also looked at connectivity. One of the things we realized was that connecting people to each other and connecting people to the internet has a massive impact on economic growth. And then we looked at other areas where we felt the mines could collaborate more closely. We also embarked on a process of engaging with stakeholders. We engaged with over 100 people. We had over 60 workshops and meetings where we met with young people, we met with municipalities, we met with religious leaders, we met with business people, and we started to get a sense of what we thought the priority needs were in the area. And we also got some way towards articulating what a shared vision for the future of the Northern Cape could look like. And you'll be surprised how aligned people are actually in terms of the things that they actually aspire to. And it was from that work that we realized that obviously, you know, jobs, skills, and connectivity were the three big areas that really needed an intervention. And so we created a portfolio of projects from the sort of the quick wins all the way through to sort of slightly ambitious, bigger investment type projects that would take several years to develop. It also became apparent that we needed a vehicle to keep the collaboration going, that it's hard work to continue working together, to continue engaging. And it's not just the mining companies working with each other. The collaboration extends beyond the mining companies into the municipalities, into local businesses, into religious organizations. So keeping that collaboration going and keeping the flow of new project ideas going was an important element to make the project sustainable. It wasn't, we couldn't just implement a couple of projects and say, well, the job's now done. We needed to find a platform that would enable this collaboration to continue into the future and to continue to grow and bring more projects in and get more people into the collaboration. And it was at that time that the Impact Catalyst had also run a journey mostly in Limpopo, and it just appeared logical that the Impact Catalyst would be the right vehicle to take this project forward. And the CEOs of the mining companies all decided that was the right way forward, and hence this launch now of the Impact Catalyst in the Northern Cape. And we're very proud to have been part of this journey, to have been part of the genesis of some of the ideas and some of the conversations and collaborations that have taken place. We really do wish you all huge success. We really do wish and hope that the Impact Catalyst will continue to be successful, and that everybody, the people of the Northern Cape, will continue to benefit from this collaboration. And we look forward to being in a position to collaborate and to assist in the project wherever we can going forward.
Thank you, Andrew. As you said, it's about creating more impact and better outcomes for the people of the Northern Cape through partnerships. And we're talking really broad partnerships here. Thank you for that. We're going to move on. But before I get to just another partner there, I just want to digress a little bit. We've had a few questions coming up on the screen. Maybe it's an opportunity to just answer one of them. And I've heard, one or two of the CEOs talking about it, but it's also come up, what about the youth? Charles, what are we doing about the youth in particular with the Impact Catalyst?
No, thank you very much. The youth is very important, and as Andre stated, that currently, if you look at the youth unemployment, it is at staggering rates. So a few of our programs that is part of this this initial launch in terms of the the future training center or learning factory, as well as our schools connectivity program, does cater for creating the platform to enable some of the youth in terms of training programs. So, for example, currently in terms of our schools connectivity program, we are rolling out infrastructure to a significant amount of schools in the Northern Cape. And the question is, how do you use this infrastructure to create or just use the superhighway to allow for other programs to run on top of it? So how do we run 4IR type of programs on top of this infrastructure where the youth can access programming, robotics and other type of programs where they can actually learn a bit more about it? But so we are creating some projects that creates the infrastructure. I think the more important question is we need to get the youth in a room to have discussions about what do they see. The Impact Catalyst is about co-creation, and I do think creating a program for the youth with the youth is maybe a way of getting their views and their perspectives in terms of the new generation and then where they will be going. So that is something definitely that we are going to do in the future.
Thanks for that, Charles. We will certainly get to more questions, so don't lose hope there. Please keep them coming. But let's just go on to Joanne Bate. Joanne is the COO of the Industrial Development Corporation. Joanne spent some many years there at the IDC, where she developed her client-centric, future-orientated view of the world. And it also drove her passion to kickstart great movements of change, development, and innovation across the continent. She's very much pro-transformation. So yeah, and she went back then to the IDC. Just a quick message from Joanne, please.
The IDC's mandate is to maximize our development impact through job-rich industrialization, while contributing to an inclusive economy by, among others, funding Black-owned and empowered companies, Black industrialists, women and youth-owned and empowered enterprises. As a development finance institution, we deliver our long-term strategy through a twin-pillar approach of financial sustainability and development effectiveness. Core to our strategy is working with like-minded partners in driving integrated regional growth and development. Our motivation in partnering with the Impact Catalyst is the aligned objectives of strengthening relationships with key economic role players drawn from both public and private sectors, including local communities, to support key sustainable economic drivers. As the IDC, we are heavily invested in the Northern Cape. We have significant investments in some of the biggest mining entities in the province, which are big drivers of facilitating regional growth and the creation of employment opportunities. Our agricultural investments along the Orange River have created new early season export opportunities for high-value horticultural crops to the benefit of local communities. We have also been at the centre of developing new industries in the region, including renewable energy. We are invested in 14 renewable energy projects yielding approximately 386 megawatts, and through these investments, the IDC has enabled broader community participation by providing funding of more than 2 billion rand to community trusts. These communities will be able to utilise the income to drive further development beyond the life of these projects. The Redstone project is probably the biggest renewable energy project in South Africa when it is finally connected to the national grid in 2024, and is but one of the recent investments by IDC in the sector. Our aim in joining the Impact Catalyst is to collaborate with partners to build new economic opportunities and uplift the lives of those living in disadvantaged communities.
Thank you very much, Joanne. You know, the IDC has been really instrumental in developing Black industrialists, and so has mining. I challenge you, Google the top 10 Black industrialists in the country. 9 of them either created their wealth through the mining industry, were from the mining industry, but essentially they became these industrialists through the mining industry, and some of them have moved on to other sectors, which is fantastic. But just have a look at that. Mining has really been instrumental in developing black industrialists. I mean, even if you go to the top list of top 100, you'll be surprised at how many of them there came through mining. But the focus now, as you know, is on broad-based community-level empowerment. And that is really what we are all about today. Okay, let's. We're gonna come back to a poll just now, but what I want to do quickly is really, before the poll, let's just go to Roger Baxter, my CEO. Roger's been the CEO of the Minerals Council since 2015. Has over 29 years of experience in the industry. And I mean, he was involved in the first mineral policy discussions in 1992 and has participated in critical discussions since then. Roger's got a quick message for us then. So, Paul, let's just go to that from Roger.
The Honourable Premier of the Northern Cape, fellow CEOs of the Minerals Council member companies, the Industrial Development Corporation, and the Impact Catalyst, honourable guests and members of the media. At times when challenges seem to be intractable, I try to rely on the wisdom of others. And I would suggest that no one would utter wiser words on particularly stubborn problems than our former President Nelson Mandela, when he said, "Action without vision is only passing time. That vision without action is merely daydreaming. But vision with action can change the world." So you might ask, does this fit in? How does this fit in with the launch of the Impact Catalyst Northern Cape today? When the Minerals Council started looking at outcomes of what became known as the Northern Cape Shared Value Project back in 2017, we realized the Northern Cape was a province set by a very specific set of challenging circumstances. Enormous challenges on the one hand that held back some of its most promising opportunities. And what would we, and what should we as the mining community be thinking about and doing about this particular set of challenges holding back the potential of the Northern Cape? Some of those challenges might indeed seem to be insurmountable from a socio-economic perspective alone. In a population of 1.3 million people, more than 2/3 can be classified as youngsters, youth. More than a quarter of those of working age are unemployed, with both youth and adult unemployment in the province some 8 percentage points and 5 percentage points higher than the national averages, respectively. Only 47% of the youth that are employed had permanent contracts, and more than 70% of those who have completed schooling have not completed matric, which is 10% higher than the national average, and more than half of the youth work in semi-skilled jobs as a result of the fact of not finishing their matrics. Yet at the same time, mining has surpassed agriculture as the largest employer in the Northern Cape. Between 2012 and 2016, 7 mining operations in 2 key Northern Cape districts had invested just over 1.2 billion across 4 local municipalities, largely through their social labour plan projects. Yet despite the significant investment, there appears to be limited tangible change or visible impact of these investments. More than that, provincial and local governments, as well as community groups, firmly believed that the industry was doing nothing or little to improve the lives of host communities. So taking the advice of Nelson Mandela that I referred to earlier, it was time to take action based on a sound vision. 4 years ago, 4 mining companies, Assmang, Kurumani Manganese Resources, Kumba Iron Ore, and South 32 South African Manganese, working together under the umbrella of the Minerals Council, recognized that new ways of working were needed if real, sustainable socio-economic transformation is to be achieved. To achieve this goal, the companies and the Minerals Council initiated the Northern Cape Shared Value Initiative and commissioned Deloitte to support us in trying to understand the magnitude of the challenges being faced and helping us to develop a vision of the future. At its heart, this vision was based on the concept of shared value. This concept, as many of you will know, was described by Professor Michael Porter of Harvard Business School as policies and practices that enhance competitiveness while simultaneously advancing the economic and social conditions of communities. So success is attained only when the dual benefits of societal and economic progress are achieved. A key premise underlying shared value is that of partnership or collaboration. let's face the facts, partnership and collaboration just enable us to achieve so much more, particularly if we synergize those relationships. A shared vision is a starting point for collaboration as it provides stakeholders with the opportunity to contribute to an inclusive set of transformative outcomes, which in turn become the measurable objective of collaborative action. The process of developing a shared vision allows participants to share their aspirations, create shared accountability, builds collaboration, capacity and trust, and ensures buy-in from stakeholders. Let's face it, through collaboration, you build transactional trust over time. So what were the lessons that were learned through the shared value project? Through research, it was established that the current social and labor plan requirements and processes create misalignment between the community needs and executed projects, and also dilute the socio-economic impact of social and labor plan projects that they could have had. So it actually undermined the potential of what these projects could have actually achieved over time. In practice, this meant that SLPs and the integrated development plans were not aligned, which meant that the projects that were being implemented were not necessarily in line with community needs. Because SLP commitments are inflexible over the full 5-year commitment period, this also diluted the impact and relevance of these initiatives and also led to a duplication of efforts between mines. 2 schools being built when only 1 is required, 2 clinics being built when 1 is required, etc. For these same reasons, unsustainable SL projects were selected, leading to low levels of commitment and in many cases, high levels of failure. And SLP targets were too generic, which meant that the projects that were selected to achieve compliance rather than to meet the most urgent and important needs of the communities. Further, mine-funded, municipal-driven initiatives were unsatisfactory because of poor project management, substandard execution partners, conflicting community stakeholder agendas, mismatched expectations and resources, and inadequate enterprise candidate selection and support. The project then embarked on a 4-step process to map stakeholder and to develop stakeholders and to develop the hypothesis for the needs of the key priority stakeholders. A key outcome was the analyzed needs and expectations of all stakeholders and the depiction of a journey towards shared value based on collaboration, common vision, and creating synergies in that shared partnership and shared vision. This is where the Impact Catalyst initiative comes in. Building on the shared value work that has already been completed, the Impact Catalyst will provide various socio-economic actors with a transparent, efficient, and effective platform to collaborate throughout the Northern Cape. The Impact Catalyst's vision and purpose is fully aligned to the Northern Cape Shared Value Initiative, and we are very pleased to have entered into this partnership to help deliver socio-economic change on a regional scale. And we are gratified that the work that was started under the Minerals Council and with its founding member companies have played such an important role in its genesis. Thank you.
Thank you for that message, Roger. And I do know that one of the strategic objectives of the Minerals Council is to promote local economic and community development, facilitating industry-wide collaboration, promoting localization and supply development. And you know, that's one of the main reasons why the Northern Cape Mines Leadership Forum was established, where these CEO get together and look at the priorities impacting their industry. And you know, it would be remiss of me not at this stage to mention clearly the largest collaboration by these companies in the Northern Cape, the Valgamagara Water Supply Scheme with Citibank Water. It's, you know, it's the water infrastructure project that is critical to the future of social and economic activity in the Northern Cape. Sadly, we did lose the CEO of Citibank Water last week, but the initiative and the work certainly continues. Roger, thank you for that. I want to go back to a poll, if that's okay, before we go to Lucas and Msimang. And I want to ask you the question, what do you think is the most important economic activity that the Impact Catalyst and its partners should prioritize during the next few months? And there you can see the various options: agriculture, health, ICT, SMME development, municipal support and capacity development, early childhood development ECD, education, training, tourism. I'm going to let you stew on that a bit and answer. And I'm going to go to Lucas. And when we come back from Lucas, we will get the results from that poll. So just very briefly, Lucas Msimanga is currently the VP, Vice President Operations, Manganese SA at South 32. He joined BHP Billiton Aluminium, South Africa in 1999, as a process specialist, and has certainly slowly built up his way through that organization. Lucas holds a honors degree in metallurgical engineering and a master's in business leadership. I've really abridged his CV substantially, but let's hear from Lucas. Thank you.
Program Director, Premier of the Northern Cape Province, Honorable Mr. Zamani Soul, Honorable team from Impact Catalyst, industry colleagues and partners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is indeed a great honor to address you on this day, which I deem a great breakthrough for the mining industry commitment to public-private sector partnership for the betterment of our local communities in the Northern Cape. The theme of today's launch speaks to the heart of South 32's purpose, which is to make a difference by developing natural resources, improving people's lives now and for generations to come. We have worked hard in recent years to implement community investment plans that are aimed at making difference in our host communities. Our community investments plans consist of commitments we have made through our social labor plans, as well as numerous additional community investment initiatives that go beyond our compliance obligations. The new partnership between Impact Catalyst, government, the Minerals Council South Africa, and mining companies is a significant development that allows for collaboration to achieve greater socio-economic prosperity for our communities. Together, we can do more. Our host communities are central to the success of our businesses. At South 32, we always look for opportunities to collaborate with government and industry to deliver long-term sustainable socio-economic development projects which will sustain communities for generations to come and remain sustainable even after the life of a mine. As part of 4 Northern Cape mines and the Minerals Council South Africa, we established the Northern Cape Shared Value Initiative in 2018 with the intent to provide a critical mass and lasting benefits for our shared host communities. Collaboration provides a platform for sharing experiences, learning, reduces duplication of efforts, and results in greater and coordinated benefits for communities. The impact and success of our collaboration was best illustrated through our recent industry response to COVID-19. The COVID-19 pandemic presented a huge challenge for the country and encouraged us to look at ways we can work together as industry and government to lessen the impact and respond to the greater benefit of all, our employees, our contractors, and local communities. South 32 contributed almost 60 million rands to COVID-19 efforts in South Africa alone. This included 10.5 million to the Solidarity Fund and 12 million for each of our operations, including our Northern Cape Hotazel manganese mines, to support the response of our local communities. These amounts were over and above our social and labor plan and regular community investment activities. I personally believe that the new partnership with Impact Catalyst will advance and accelerate the implementation of the Northern Cape Shared Value Strategy. Therefore, I am pleased that South 32 is here today to formalize this partnership and be part of the transformation of the lives of ordinary men and women of the Northern Cape. We have been a development contributor and partner to the Northern Cape Province with a particular focus in the JTG district for many years. We prefer to recruit and procure locally from the district, have implemented numerous skills development programs, implemented several enterprise and supplier development initiatives in addition to our community development projects. We believe that these efforts have positively contributed to the province's economic growth. As part of the joint projects under the coordination of the Northern Cape Shared Value Initiative and Impact Catalyst, we have identified 4 flagship projects under ESD in the area of workwear, hygiene consumables, spares and parts, as well as building materials. We have spent 138 million rands in the past 2 years through our ESD programs. I will share with you one of these ESD projects that we are implementing. In the area of hygiene consumables, a black-owned local company from JTG will be supported with an initial investment to set up a cleaning, chemical blending and packaging facility. This will form part of the first phase of building up the manufacturing facilities. The next phases will include research and development of cleaning chemicals using readily available raw materials in the Northern Cape with technical expertise from the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. These cleaning chemical products will not only be produced for the mining industry, but also meet the requirements of any large retail stores and variety of other resellers and consumers. This flagship project is estimated to create between 30 to 40 jobs per operating site. In regard to community development, we're looking to implement the following projects under the collaborative umbrella: refurbish the pediatric ward into a modern facility, construction of a health center in the district, and hope to leverage additional resources from other partners. Implement agricultural support projects, as agriculture is a major sector in the area we operate in, and many opportunities exist for local farmers and households to both get economic value from their land as well as contribute to food security. We also have a host of infrastructure projects in the JTG district, which also aim to change the lives of our communities. These projects include construction of a high-quality Riarata primary school, construction of a bridge in the Hadiboye village, and a road in Botitong to provide easier movement access for the local villages and also contribute to the economic growth of the villages. Our commitment to socio-economic prosperity of our communities is demonstrated through training programs such as the maths and science programs we have been offering to local learners from grade 9 to matric for the last 4 years. We have also recently launched a community scholarship where qualifying students in the district will get a bursary to study at any higher institution of learning of their choice. All these projects contribute positively to the 4 focus areas of education and leadership, economic participation, health and well-being, natural resource resilience. I am certain that today's launch of the partnership with Impact Catalyst is indeed a significant one for all parties, especially for the local host communities, which will be the main beneficiaries of the projects. We look forward to being an active partner in this collaboration and to the results it will produce. I thank you.
Thank you to Lucas for that message, emphasizing the benefits of collaboration. It's good to see that South 32 is also walking the talk. Their contributions towards fighting COVID was substantial. I mean, Lucas mentioned the 60 million that was contributed towards fighting COVID. I just want to bring it closer to home in the Northern Cape, just to talk about what the companies that made up the Northern Cape Mines Leadership Forum contributed in the Northern Cape alone. I mean, we're looking at about 100 million rands worth that was contributed to fighting COVID in the Northern Cape. And this was certainly acknowledged by the province. Maybe just another noteworthy one. I mean, it's not as if the mining companies were only looking after the provinces where they have mines. In the Eastern Cape, there was a 47 million rand donation to the hospitals in the Eastern Cape to buy essential equipment relating to oxygen. Oxygen saves lives. So the mining companies have really done a tremendous amount of work to combating COVID. And I'm always really bowled over by the extent of the contributions that mining companies make, not only through the economic contributions, employment, but also through their social initiatives, their SLPs. And then also on top of that, some of the work that they're wanting to do through the Impact Catalyst. It is really, really impressive. I want to move on to our last message, and that is from Thembelani Gancho. And then we'll move to the poll. We've got the results of the poll, so we will show those just now. Thembelani is this Chief Executive Officer of Kudumani Manganese. Prior to that, he was at ABSA, and he was VP for Mining and Metals at ABSA. And, he holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Finance from the University of Cape Town. Let's let Thembelani just share a message or two with us.
Good day, Honourable Premier, distinguished guests, our fellow collaborating partners, and the audience at large. It gives us great pleasure as Kudumani Manganese Resources to be partnering with the Impact Catalyst and our fellow mining counterparts in the Northern Cape as we seek to catalyze socio-economic prosperity together in a more sustainable manner. The current socio-economic environment in South Africa, and especially the Northern Cape, requires us as mining enterprises to rethink, reimagine how we effectively deploy our resources for a more sustainable outcome. The coronavirus pandemic has exacerbated the plight of thousands of our people and exposed structural challenges within our economic system. Unemployment, inequality, and the lack of access to resources and opportunities are some of the challenges that have been further heightened by the pandemic and continue to contribute to the high rate of poverty, especially in rural areas and the mining communities we operate in, such as the JTG district in our case. As Kudumani, we have aligned our vision with the goal of making a sustainable impact insofar as redressing the aforementioned challenges within our host communities. We seek to create value for all our stakeholders, more so our host communities, by investing in quality education and healthcare, as well as giving access to economic opportunities. As a company that is conscious of its responsibilities towards its host communities, we have been deliberate in our efforts to find lasting solutions to the challenges faced by these communities. Partnerships between the public and private sector, including municipalities, tribal authorities, and the communities affected by these socio-economic issues, are crucial in our efforts to bring sustainable development. As we seek to achieve these objectives, we see skills development as a catalyst to addressing some of the socio-economic challenges in the JTG district. Our focus as a mining industry in meeting our operating license obligation has primarily been on infrastructure and skills development through the implementation of SLP and CSI projects aimed at sustainable development. Whilst the sector has made considerable investments and deployed resources in the JTG district, these investments haven't always translated into improving the socio-economic conditions of the communities. Education and skills development is crucial in both the workplace and our host communities. We facilitate this through the upskilling programs offered to the youth as well as the unemployed to ensure that they become economically active through better employment opportunities and security. Skills development and education will also promote entrepreneurship and therefore drive job creation and participation in the local economy. Local economic development is another catalyst to addressing some of the socio-economic challenges in the JTG district. There is an expectation that mining companies will drive entrepreneurial activities in their host communities by providing opportunities to local service providers. Procurement spend effectively deployed within the host communities can go a long way to stimulate local economic development. As a company, we have made it a point to surpass the minimum regulatory requirements by directing a significant portion of our procurement spend to local enterprises. We are also investing in supplier and enterprise development to stimulate and enable the growth of SMEs in our host communities. In furthering our initiative for sustainable development, we have sought to collaborate and form partnerships. We are acutely aware that partnerships and collaborations have their challenges as they require joint decision-making, information sharing, transparency, and accountability. However, it is attainable when participants focus on a common goal. Hence, we believe this collaboration through the Impact Catalyst will deliver the collective objectives we seek to achieve. In 2018, KMR embarked on a journey of collaboration through the Northern Cape Shared Value Initiative with other mining companies in the region to address the socio-economic issues in the JTG district. The shared value approach was supported and coordinated under the umbrella of the Minerals Council of South Africa. The objective of the collaboration was to establish synergy in the projects that we wanted to implement, which in turn were going to bring meaningful and valuable impact. This was meant to avoid duplication of projects and fast-track implementation. Phase 1 of this project was a success, with hundreds of stakeholders such as the youth, traditional authorities, the municipalities, religious leaders, and civil society having participated in the consultation process. This process led to the identification of key projects meant to address some of the socio-economic challenges in the JTG district. The Impact Catalyst is the chosen vehicle through which we as an industry can collectively address the socio-economic issues in the JTG region and the province. Being part of the Impact Catalyst is being part of a movement. It is a way of ensuring that we form these meaningful partnerships and collaborations on projects that have been mutually identified by the relevant stakeholders. The Impact Catalyst is already involved in some initiatives aimed at the development of the Northern Cape with some of our partners. These projects include those identified through working with the Northern Cape Shared Value Task Team members. Some of these projects are currently being done by Impact Catalyst in the Northern Cape Economic Development, InvestMap. Through this program, they contribute towards the Northern Cape Development Plan, capacity building, and a capable state. The Northern Cape Enterprise and Supply Development Localization Program. This project is aimed at increasing the economic activity in the Northern Cape due to increased in-province procurement. Katu Industrial Park, the investment value into this project is going to exceed 450 million, but the output and the impact is expected to be significantly greater than the investment. Kurumani is particularly excited about the Katu Industrial Park given the type of job creation and economic activity it's going to stimulate for the region. Thank you.
Thank you to Thembelani there. I think it's important to note, ladies and gentlemen, that it's not just the large mining companies that are, putting their weight behind the Impact Catalyst and social development in the region. It's the smaller and also, medium-sized mining companies that are also doing their bit. Look at Kudumani. They're playing their critical role in the development of the Northern Cape. So really, thank you very much to Thembelani for that. We're coming towards the end of our program, but before we do that, remember we did take that poll. I will just ask the guys to put the poll up on the screen so that you as the audience can actually see the results. So it's on screen now. And remember, the question was, what do you think is the most important economic activity that the Impact Catalyst and its partners should prioritize during the next few months? Well, interesting results. Top of the pops there is SMME development, taking 32%, the final one. And then next is agriculture at 16%. And then very close third is municipal support and capacity development. So it's interesting. SMME development, agriculture, those are large employment creating activities, municipal capacity and support. If we get that right, as you can imagine, it has a huge knock-on impact, for the development of the region. A better functioning municipality makes local economic development happen, makes service delivery happen, and clearly everybody benefits. And then also some of the others mentioned there. I want to come back to Charles, just to see what he thinks of the results. We haven't managed to answer all the questions that have been coming through the Q&A, but I think this discussion might just touch on some of those questions. Charles, over to you.
No, thank you very much. Yeah, I think if you look at the poll, I think one of the things that everybody should remember is that SMEs are across all of our sectors. So SMEs is very important, whether that's a SME in agriculture or SME in training, or even when you look at municipality capacity building, when we start looking at the infrastructure requirements of these municipalities, which is in the hundreds of millions of rands, you need local people to actually perform the work. You need local people to build roads and pipelines and water infrastructure. And in many cases, those local SMEs are not necessarily used or not there to provide those services for the municipalities. So all of these things are linked. And that's what we're also trying to do almost from a systemic perspective, is to say, how do we create jobs? Doesn't matter if it is in agriculture or municipality capacity building or in manufacturing. Very important. One of the other things in terms of the questions that's been asked around the mine supply chains is very important, to say, well, we are there to, as example, the example that was given around the hygiene products is that we use a project where there is a specific need in a supply chain of a mine for hygiene products, as example, but the same products can be sold to a Pick n Pay or Spar or any other retailer. The reason why this becomes very important is because we don't want to create businesses that are just dependent on the mining supply chain, because if the mine closes, then the supply chain closes. How do we create businesses that's dependent on multiple sectors? So the mine supply chains is very important as a catalyst, but it's not the end-all be-all. How do we use the supply chain as a catalyst to create these businesses, but create a bit more sustainability and access to other sectors through this catalyst, to access other sectors, other parts of the country, or even export these products across the globe. And that is the ultimate that we want to do. If we just create more things that's dependent on the mine supply chain, it creates jobs, but it's also not necessarily long-term jobs, because of every mine has got a life of mine. And it's important to support SMEs through the supply chains. But we want to be more resilient in terms of the economies we create. So to create things that in, for example, agriculture, that's less dependent in some cases on the mine supply chain, but also utilize the mine supply chains as a catalyst. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Charles. And then, yeah, I think that was important to just maybe touch on some of the questions that have been asked through the Q&A. The audience can't see it through the Q&A, but we've been having a look at these questions. So, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, we're really coming to the end of our open program, and really thanks to Charles for those last words there. I mean, all I really just want to emphasize is that this initiative is about regional collaborative development. That is also impactful and catalytic, to local economic development within the province. It must be impactful and it must be catalytic, hence the name, obviously, the Impact Catalyst. But it must be done in consultation with key stakeholders, communities, SMMEs, local, provincial government, those that are disenfranchised also. It has to be done in consultation. Consultation is absolutely critical to get buy-in for these projects. So it really is core to it, ladies and gentlemen. And at that, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, we really bring our program to a close. I just want to go through just one or two quick formalities before you go. The media, do remember that we're going to have a media session now. Each journalist would have received a link through their inbox from Wilma on how to join the other virtual room that we're going to be going to just now, for the opportunity to ask questions and interact with some of the CEOs that will be present, and some of their representatives from the media or communications execs from those companies. If you still haven't received that link, please do message us so we can actually then get you that link into that forum. And finally, I really want to thank a few people just briefly. I want to thank the Office of the Premier. Thank you for participating. Without your support, collaboration, direction, a lot of these things just will not materialize. So thank you very much to yourselves. I want to thank the backbone CEOs, the backbone partners that have been part of the Impact Catalyst, and also the new partners that are now coming on board to take the Impact Catalyst to another level, certainly for it to flourish in the Northern Cape. And also, quite importantly, future partners. This is an inclusive, a very inclusive collaboration. So other economic actors must come into the fold to make it a success. Yeah. I want to have, then maybe just come to Charles. Charles, anything else you want to address?
Yeah, no, thank you very much. I do think today was a very interactive session. If I look at the questions and everything that was posted today, there has been a few very good discussions, which is very good for us, because we are about having discussions. I think nobody's got all the answers, and as a collective, we can get to the right projects, the right opportunities to create the impact that we actually need to achieve. So the questions that has been raised today has been very valuable. The discussions that's going to follow after this is going to be even more valuable, because we need to work together, and we need to sit together and prioritize and see how we can make the impact that this project or this initiative is envisioned. Today has been great. If I look at the number of participants, we were hovering about 180 participants at one stage, which is significant for an event like this, and the participation that is coming from it. I just want to thank then everybody that has been part of this process, because I think going forward, we are going to work much closer together, and everybody that's been part of the session, we invite to work much closer together. I see the team in the background has been taking a lot of notes and taking email addresses and contact details for people that raise questions, and we will definitely get to those questions and comments over time. And thank you very much to all the partners that's been here today. Without you, we're not necessarily going to have a launch. And it's very important, because to have all the partners here, because it just shows the level of commitment. This is not we just launching something and it's going to disappear over time. We've got the highest level of participation in this forum to show you the level of commitment behind the projects that we want to launch, and that is a real intent and a burning desire to make a real difference in the province. Thank you very much for that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings our session to a close. Thank you very much.